What's going on, everybody? I'm Lawrence Owen, back with another edition of Colts Law, and today we're going to talk about the keys to the game, right, for the Indianapolis Colts, because let's face it, this is a situation when you're in, you can't come out of this game and lose, otherwise your season is over. But if you win, not only are you in the playoffs, but you have a chance to even win the division and actually host a playoff game if the Jacksonville Jaguars lose tomorrow. So this is something that I want to discuss, keys to victory on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. The first thing I want to talk about is going to the defense. Okay? The defense, there's issues over here. CJ Stroud is really, really good against zone. Not just zone, but cover 3, which is what Gus Bradley runs. I think he runs cover 3 like the most, or top to the most in the NFL, right? And CJ's got like a 106 quarterback passer rating, right, against cover 3. Now, in order to get this to work, you got to get pressure. Right, you got to get pressure no matter what in this game. So this is definitely going to come down to Nate Ollie, the defensive line coach, and his unit in order to get pressure. And not just pressure, right? I'm not talking about, quarterback steps back, looks around, holds the ball for a second, waits for some routes to develop, and then pressure comes. No, I mean you need to get winning matchups immediately as soon as the ball is snapped. You got to get pressure in Stroud's face, force him out of the pocket, force him to throw the football before he's ready to, get him out of the comfort zone. Because, yes, I understand that Stroud is good under pressure, but he's not good under immediate pressure. There is a big difference between when he is pressured, right? If you're pressured 2.5 seconds into your drop back, that's a way different than pressure as soon as the ball is snapped, okay? So the Indianapolis Colts defensive line definitely has to get into that and do that. And they should be able to, because this offensive line for the Houston Texans, first off, is not very good in the first place. And secondly, it is banged up beyond belief. It is worse than the Houston Texans offensive line that the Indianapolis Colts faced back in week 2. Everybody's saying that the Texans are a different team than what they were back in week 2 when the Colts first faced them. Absolutely. But one of the negative things to this team in this game, as opposed to when the Colts faced them, is the offensive line. They're in a worse position now than what they were at that point. The defensive line absolutely has to get pressure. Number 2, Gus Bradley. Gus, I talked about this cover 3 thing. Talked about this zone defense thing. That's fine. I understand. But after the first drive or two, if this is not working, if you're not getting stops, if you're not getting pressures from the defensive line, if you're not, getting a turnover or something of that nature, this defense has to show up. The Indianapolis Colts cannot fall behind early. That is very, very important because this Texans team is built to win by taking early leads. You get a lead on them, like you did back in week 2, you stand a damn good chance of beating them, okay? So, maybe mix a few things up. Maybe send a couple blitzes. Shock them a little bit. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying maybe. Maybe play a little bit more man. Maybe play a little bit more covers. You know what? Some of the best plays that you have done this year, even one against the Texans, was a cover 0 blitz. Okay? Forcing Stroud to throw away the football immediately. Right? It was a win. Every time you played a blitz against Stroud in week 2, it was a success. Whether it was an interception, whether it was a sack, whether it was an incomplete pass, no matter what, when you blitzed against him, you won. Okay? So you got to keep that in mind. Mix things up. Hide your coverages. Right? He's expecting cover 3. They're expecting cover 3, cover 2, cover 1 a lot in this game. Colts will generally, I'm telling you, look like, hide. If you're going to go in man coverage, Do your best to hide that coverage, make it look like cover, and then switch out. Same with, if you're going into zone and you just saw the Colts go into man coverage, like the drive before, hide it. Pretend like you're in man. Then drop back. You get a guy inside a throwing lane, and if pressure is in his face, that could cause turnovers. That is something very, very important that the Indianapolis Colts, and especially Gus Bradley, needs to figure out because we have a very young secondary. Okay? Now, granted, we should have Kenny Moore back in this game. That's going to help a ton. All right? But Nico Collins, he's a deep threat. He is a scary deep threat. Noah Brown is out. That's good for you. Okay? That's good for you. Dalton Schultz, you can't let him take over this game. The last time we played the Texans, and throughout the season really, it was the Nico Collins, Tank Dell experience. Well, Tank Dell's out for the season. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that. You can't let Dalton Schultz be that guy up the middle where Tank Dell was when we played them last time. Okay? You got to keep somebody over him. Make sure that he's not able to chunk you out for first down catches. Those 7 to 15 yard tight end passes over the middle. Can't let that happen. And always keep someone over the top of Nico Collins because this dude is dangerous, especially downfield. He's got a lot of speed. All right. So that's my thoughts on the defense. On offense, it's all about the offensive line again. Okay? It's all defense on the defensive line. Offense is about the offensive line. We got our starters back. Awesome. That's great. Let's run the football. Let's keep that Houston Texans offense off the field. Why do I say that? Like I said, this team is legitimately better when Stroud is throwing the football. Now, Devin Singletary, he's done a pretty good job this year. I think he's got 1,000 yards rushing. Not bad. But they legitimately are better as a throwing team than they are a running team. Okay? They don't like to come back from deficits. That's the problem. Because once they're in a deficit, then you can pin your ears back. So what you do is you run the football and eat clock. Keep them on the sideline. Okay? Don't let them have any momentum at all. That way, first off, it's helping fans out. Okay? Because when the Colts offense is on the field, fans ain't going to be screaming their heads off. They're going to be screaming when the defense is on the field. All right? So you want, not only are you giving the defense a rest by running the football, you're giving the fans out in the stands a rest so they can continue to be very, very loud on, when the defense is out there and make it more difficult for the Houston Texans to create audibles and stuff out there on the field, on like third downs and stuff of that nature. So you got to be able to run the football and you got to be able to get first downs. Now, I have been noticing, right, that a certain wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts are getting a couple looks once in a while. Name actually Alec Pierce, right? Minshew is noticing, hey, this dude is open downfield. I'm going to hit him a couple times maybe in games. Now, Houston Texans play a lot of cover 2. Probably going to be difficult to get a lot of deep shots on this defense. DeMeco Ryans loves his cover 2 shell, right? And he generally, very similar to Gus Bradley, he likes his front 4, right? And runs a lot of cover 2. So that's a problem. Whereas, obviously, Gus runs a lot of cover 3. Hit your slant routes. Hit your post routes. That is what can kill cover 2. Utilize that more often. This is a situation. I don't want to see a lot of, curls and comebacks and things of that. You can run a comeback occasionally. It just depends upon where on the field that comeback is at. But I don't want to see a lot of curls and stuff of that nature. More slants, more drags, more in routes, more post routes, right? Stuff that you can legitimately open up a zone defense with. And when they go man, that's when you can hit them with the deep shot. That's when you can hit them with the deep shot. But the offensive line has got to give Gardner Minshew time. Gardner's already got happy feet. We've seen it all year. All right. Any kind of pressure early in the game, and then all of a sudden he's bouncing around trying to escape the pocket, and sometimes he don't see open guys as he's running. Okay? You got to let him sit in the pocket, look around, see where the open guy is. So we're talking to you, Braden Smith, Bernard Ryman. They have to have stellar games this year. Now, Jonathan Greenard's not playing in this game. He is their leading sack guy, but, Will Anderson, that rookie's got 7 sacks on the season, I believe. 6 or 7, right? He's doing a pretty good job. This defensive line for the Texans actually do a fantastic job, but they're beat up as well, just like the Texans' offensive line. Utilize that to your advantage in plowing for creating holes for the run game and protecting Gardner Minshew so that he can make plays. Now, sometimes DeMeco Ryans will blitz. He doesn't blitz a lot, like 20%, but he will blitz. They show the blitz. Make sure, now this is for Shane Steichen, Jim Bob Cooter, and Gardner Minshew. Make sure you have a tight end or running back screen ready at all times that you can go to, that you can audible into. You see a blitz coming when you're sending over center and you're looking over the defense and you got a pretty darn good sure idea a blitz is coming, make sure you have that screen set up and running. Because as fast as these linebackers are, they over pursue. And if they over pursue, you can run a play action or RPO screen, okay, and get some chunk yardage with some of your tight ends like Granson or Mallory, or even if you're throwing the ball out to Jonathan Taylor. You get Jonathan Taylor out in space, that speed can hit hard and create a lot of running room. All right. In this game, the biggest key to the game, don't fall behind. Do not fall. You need to get out ahead early. So if you're going to make changes early on in this game, show the Texans something different defensively and offensively. Be aggressive early in the defense, and on offense, take what the defense gives you, because that is the biggest key. You can't fall behind by 2 scores in the first half. Otherwise, this game is over. Okay? I want to thank everybody for being here with me while we discuss the keys to the game for the Houston Texans visiting the Indianapolis Colts Week 18 tonight on Saturday, prime time. It's about time both these teams finally get a late game, right? Neither of these teams had a late game all year long. Thank you so much, and until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. Please don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video, and hopefully I see you on my live stream at 7:30. And until then, as usual, have a good one.